Geek Vibes Live is rated G for geek.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another amazing episode of Geek Vibes Live interview. For today's interview, I will be speaking to Hallea Jones from Netflix's Locke and Key. So we just need to call her in really quick. So give me just 1 second. Oops. Be nice if my keyboard worked. All right, let's call her in.
Thank you for calling Hallea Jones. Sorry I'm not able to come to the phone right now, but if you leave me a message or send me a text, I'll be sure to get back.
All right, looks like Hallea is not answering just yet. I'll give it a second before trying her one more time. Again, I will be speaking with Hallea Jones from Netflix's Locke and Key. And we previously spoke to another individual from Locke and Key, and that interview was done by Kelly, and it was a really great interview. So make sure you go on geekvibesnation.com to check that out. Let's try and call her one more time.
The customer you have dialed is currently not available. Please try your...
All right, I don't know necessarily what's going on there, but give me 2 seconds, everyone, to figure it out, certainly, because we do definitely want to speak with Hallea today. Let me just contact someone really quick. 1 second. All right, let's try her one more time. One moment, everyone. Oh boy, there. I'm going to wait about 5 more minutes to hear back from my producer to see what is going on there. Hopefully we can get another phone number to give her a call, because I am super excited to be doing this interview. Netflix's Locke and Key is very popular and has been it has been approved for a second season, which is very exciting. Let's try this one more time. Sorry, everyone. You know, these celebrities are very busy, and with everything that's going on now in the world, I'm sure that it may have just slipped her schedule. So one moment.
Hello?
Hi, I'm looking for Hallea Jones.
Hallea, that's me.
Hi, Hallea. I'm sorry, am I mispronouncing that? I do apologize.
That's okay, I'm so used to it.
I'm so
it's Hallea, yeah.
My name is Tia from Geek Vibes Nation, and some people mispronounce my name, so I completely sympathize with you.
Yeah, it is what it is. You just can't take it personally unless they continue to mispronounce it or something like that, right? So, but yeah, it's Tia?
Tia, yes.
Is it T-I-E? T-I-A?
T-I-A, yes.
Nice. I have a few friends named Tia, actually, so I love that name. It's very nice.
Well, I pretty much don't hear of anyone who has my name, so that's very cool. You have a very unique name, and it's very pretty. I love it.
Thank you.
Maybe completely random, but what name is it? The background of it, do you know?
I'm actually named after a volcano in Maui, Hawaii, Hallea Jones.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
that is a very cool
random,
thing.
Yeah, I like it.
Well,
I used to hate it when I was a kid, but I like it now.
Because you never probably found a keychain with your name on it, right?
Oh, God, no. Yeah, I was called Holly when I was younger, so the nickname Holly I could find, but never Hallea, ever.
I would always get Tina, so I completely understand.
Yeah.
But
crazy.
Again, thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I know that everything is so crazy right now. How are you handling quarantine life?
I'm up north with my family. I'm actually going down into Toronto to move out of my apartment because I don't see the point in paying rent for a place I'm not going to be living for many months.
Right.
So I'm with my family. I'm working on I'm a musician as well, so I've been working on a bunch of music with my brother. So we've been doing that, and other than quarantine with what's going on in the world right now, I, from afar, am exhausted from what's going on in the world right now, and I'm not even the one directly affected by it. So a lot's going on. It's a lot to process. So how are you
doing? Doing just fine, all things considered, of course, but the one good thing about being stuck indoors is that it gives you a lot of opportunities to watch different shows, such as Netflix's Locke and Key, which you play. You play Eden Hawkins, and congratulations on getting renewed. I'm sure that everyone is really excited to kind of get back to work on this show.
Oh, gosh, yeah, and we have absolutely no idea when that is going to happen.
No, I can only imagine everything is kind of on pause right now, but when did you film that? I mean, it has to have been over a year now at this point.
Very much so. We started, the first table read was February, like the beginning of February, and then we started filming mid-February, and then we went till the first week of July of last year. And then it takes about 6 months to get a show all edited and off the ground, and then we had the premiere around the same time as the next year. So it's been a long time coming, and we are definitely wanting to get back on set, but when they called us about season 2, they were like, we can hope for the fall, but we have no promises of the fall. And with all these protests going on all over the world, like with people in Toronto and, in different cities protesting so close together, you can't help but think there is going to be a second wave, which will push back production, which is the least of the concerns of what is going on in the world. But in regards to Locke and Key and when we're going to get filming again, there's just no knowing, which is, it sucks because I would love to go and see get on to set with everybody, but we got to keep everyone healthy. So.
Absolutely, that is the most important thing. One of my associates spoke with Jesse Camacho a few weeks back, and he kind of expressed the same sentiment that right now everything's a little up in the air, and when you can go back, you guys will go back. But for in the meantime, of course, we can talk about season 1 of Locke and Key, where, again, you play Eden. How was that experience playing that character, getting the role and getting into playing her?
Well, it's actually a funny story because this is my first recurring role, and so when I went in for the audition, I flubbed my lines a bunch of times. Like, I messed them up, and I was so certain I wouldn't get it, but there was something I was told later by the writers that I had made the writer's room black. And I think a lot of people who were coming in to audition for Eden were just playing just straight up mean. And so it was funny to me that, like, bringing that comedic relief to such a like an annoyingly closed, like narrow-minded, or not narrow. I wouldn't call her narrow-minded, but just like kind of comes off as entitled, popular girl. It was such a cool experience to develop this character over the 10 episodes, or Eden was in 8 episodes out of the 10. But I remember when I booked the role, it was the most exciting thing ever. And I didn't really realize how big it was. And I don't think any of us really realized how big it was until we got to the premiere in LA at the Egyptian Theater. And it was just huge. And like when I told my friend I got this role on a show called Locke and Key, like he jumped up all excitingly and went and ran and got his case of the 6 books. And he was like, read this. This is my favorite comic series ever. And so I went and I went through them so quickly. And I need to give him those back. But my mom bought me a whole new set for my birthday, and I'll probably get a few of the castmates to sign the copies he gave me. So I'm going to be like, I'm sorry, I've had these over 2 years now, but here. But yeah, it was the coolest thing. And then you speak of Jesse Camacho, and it's crazy the relationships that have been built on the show, because he's just become one of my best friends. So it's been a whirlwind, but it's been a really enjoyable ride.
Oh, that's so wonderful to hear about that. So you were saying that Jesse has become one of, your closest friends. I mean, was that sentiment shared with the cast? I mean, I would have to imagine filming so many episodes together, you guys get really close after time.
For sure. And I mean, like I said, I haven't been on a show this long before. The only work that I've done before this was like a day or two on set. So I never had the opportunity to really build relationships with the castmates. But this show, we would be going out to watch movies. Like Jackson had one of his movies, Jackson Robert Scott, who plays Bodhi, had a movie come out before we started filming, but they were in the city. And we all went. I didn't go see the movie because it was a horror film, and I don't like horror. But we all went to dinner, and then they went to go see the movie. And then, they came to support me when I did a concert. And we all just hung out and played video games together and went for a drink. And we just all became friends. And I think Jesse and I latched on to each other more than everyone else, because a lot of the cast lives in America or the UK and just different places. And Jesse and I, we run it actually, funny enough, in the same friend group, but I only came to know that friend group just before I met Jesse. So we would have crossed paths anyway, even if we weren't in the same show. But it was just, we have the funniest story. I don't know if he told you or whatever of how we met, and it was just a funny happenstance. So, yeah, we've all become a really big family.
Oh, that's really wonderful to hear, honestly. And it certainly is conveyed from, watching all of you, interact with each other. Of course, you're playing all these different characters. And so what was your, favorite aspect of the story? What did you enjoy the most during your time of filming Locke and Key?
You mean in the way of like the storyline, or what favorite story is like the behind the scenes?
Oh, I would love both, honestly. I love behind the scenes stories.
Oh my goodness. I'll start with the show. I love that the show deals with more than just the magic. It deals with, family relations and relationships and friendships and coming of age stories and all of these different elements that go beyond the typical just like CGI magic things. And then when it comes to behind the scenes, I mean, Jesse and I have some pretty funny stories that I think we'll take to our grave. But we all went to Lunenburg, Nova Scotia to film a lot of the exterior and the cave scenes. And that was a great time to just hang out and walk the piers and go and get dinner together and just hang out. And we just always made the most of being, in between filming and also on set. Like we would, when we were filming a lot of the school scenes, we would hang out in one of the classrooms between film, like when we were just waiting to film. And we would play like a lot of games on the chalkboards, and we did one where you would have to try to draw the person's face without looking, and it just was horrible because no one got it. It was just eyes and mouth in the same place kind of thing, and we just always had a really good laugh, and always just, so friendly, and nobody had, any negativity about them. So it was a really, really fun time, and I'm missing it. I'm missing it more now. Thinking about it.
Now that we're talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This may be a silly sort of question, but the classroom scenes now, was that a set specifically built for the story? Was anything filmed, say, in an actual school? Because I know that sometimes movies and TV shows do that.
Yeah, so everything that you see inside for a school scene was filmed at Wycliffe College. So like a University of Toronto campus in Toronto. And then like everything outside was a different university. And so they had like a bunch of different locations, but usually like the school was filmed in Toronto. But then the house, for example, everything was on a soundstage, which is really, really cool.
Nice. Awesome. And so there's at some point in the story where a key is used against your character, and you kind of are, I don't want to say flailing on the table.
I was flailing. It was flailing. It was constructed and choreographed flailing.
I love that. Was that first of all difficult to film, and how many takes did that actually take to complete?
So we did 2 choreographing dance movement sessions beforehand to just prepare. Because when I got the scene, I was like, are they going to just throw me into it and say, figure it out, and then 4 things on your head by the end? But no, Netflix is very strategic about how they do things. And I did 2 movement coachings. And then when the day came, we did everything except for the final pour. So that there's right at the very end when Eden's hand comes up and then she follows the hand because she has no control over that hand wanting to do what it's about to do. That was 1 take. We didn't film it more than once, that pour, because I mean when you do something like that, if it's jumping in a lake or like a pool or spilling something on yourself or cutting your hair off, like that's a 1 take kind of thing. Or else you got to go and get washed up and do your makeup again. I was actually on a movie called Let It Snow where my character got a smoothie poured on her head. So I don't know what Netflix is up to, but they keep on putting me through this, and I don't mind it, but I'm starting to wonder, why. But in that movie, apparently my hand came up in front of my face in the wrong way, so they had to film it again. And so they had to go wash me up, put my makeup, do my hair over again. But with Locke and Key in that scene, we only did that final initial pour once, which I was glad about. And everything before that, we did a few different takes, a few different angles. And like the initial trip, I did that like several times. So, and I didn't want to use a stunt double either. I wanted to do it all by myself. They did have a stunt double on set in case I wanted that, but I kind of like Jackie Chan. I want to do my own stunts.
That's really cool, honestly, to hear that, because as you said, a lot of times people would probably opt for the stunt double, but you choosing to do it yourself is really cool. Would you say that maybe was the most challenging or, nerve-wracking scene to kind of film, or was there something else within Locke and Key that you felt was a little bit more challenging for you?
No, I would say it was definitely the most challenging because it's just so physical. And I mean, like, I had padding all over myself, but it wasn't, it was still falling. Like, you can have a lot of padding and whatnot, but you're still gonna hit yourself pretty hard when you're falling.
Did that hurt or anything, or did the padding kind of help?
The padding helped, but there were certain things that, you can only have so much padding, especially because Eden Hawkins wears skinny jeans and, not the baggiest things that you can put a lot of padding underneath. And then you're still dealing with the impact, the force of falling and doing it repetitively. And they kept on saying, like, you don't have to actually, like for the initial one when they first take over and I fall, like, I did that for real every single time. And they were like, you don't have to do that. We can, cut and make it look real and whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it look real, and I'm going to keep doing it. And I did end up with a few bruises, but, it's a job, and I really, really enjoyed it.
That's great to hear. Now, at the end of the season, we find out that Eden has actually been possessed. So, I mean, I'm not sure how much of season 2 you can talk about it since you guys haven't started filming or anything, but, I mean, what should we expect from that moment to, where does it continue in season 2?
God, I would love to know. I absolutely have no idea. I would love to answer that. I mean, I probably wouldn't even if I did know, because that would be a huge spoiler. But, I can only hope that she gets up to some crazy behavior. Yeah, I have absolutely no answers for you on that one.
That's completely fair. When you read that in the script, were you shocked, excited? Because I feel like kind of always fun to play someone who's possessed. I know that sounds a little weird, but in shows like, say, Supernatural or something, I feel like that a great deal of fun comes from that. Yeah.
It's funny, so they don't send all the scripts at once. They send them throughout the season while we're filming, so that, like, nothing gets spoiled or spilled or anything like that, and things can be changed. And when I got sent the script, I was sitting with my mom one night, and I read it, and I got to the end, and I just, I couldn't believe it. That's a huge, as an actor, that's a huge honor to be given such a big character shift, and a challenge. And I started jumping up and down and, just was so excited. And my mom's like, tell me, what happened? Tell me what happened. I'm like, no, you're not allowed to know this. And she did figure that there was something crazy like that happening at the end because I was so excited that day. But, I couldn't contain myself. I tell my mom so much, but how was I supposed to contain that? But, I didn't tell her straight out. But when we were in LA for the premiere and the show came out, she did watch it before she left to go back home. I stayed in LA for the month, and she was like, I knew that was going to happen. I'm like, sure you did. But yeah, it was really, really exciting to get that because, like I said earlier about getting the role, I didn't think it was going to be as big of a role as it was, and I didn't think it was going to be as big of a show as it was, and it was incredible to be gifted this opportunity to have such a character arc and such a character shift where I can really, really have fun playing with that next season. And I'm excited to see what Eden gets up to. Got to practice my demonic smile.
I'm very excited as well. As a kind of fun sort of question, obviously there's a lot of keys in Lock and Key, and if you were to get your hands on one of them, which one would you want?
Which keys? The Anywhere key, for sure. I feel like that's just it's such a no-brainer for me because I have friends I would love to see who don't live close by, and I hate carrying around suitcases and the travel lines and all that stuff. Like, I love traveling, but if I could have an Anywhere key that could just take me anywhere at any time, I would not hesitate to get my hands on that one.
Oh, absolutely, 100% agree. So as you said, Locke and Key was your first pretty much ongoing role, which is fantastic for it to be on such a popular show by Netflix, such a huge streaming service. And when I was looking and preparing for this interview, I saw that you have a music career. I'm sure that there are differences between the two, but what would you say are, the similarities between performing on stage at a concert to performing on a set?
Well, they are very different, but the key element is you gotta have confidence in yourself. You gotta do your homework, and it's, I mean, with a set, you still have a lot of people watching, and you're gonna have a lot of people watching. But the difference is, at a concert, you see everybody in front of you. When with Netflix, with that performance on Netflix, that's the biggest concert I've ever had. But I didn't see the audience, right? But when you're filming, with that scene, the cafeteria scene, there was probably like 100+ crew there and cast. Like, background alone, there was probably like over 60 people, just watching you do that. And it's about having the confidence to just go for it and be sure of yourself. And there's many differences, but just going for it. That's the thing about it.
Right, exactly. I could imagine. I just figured I'd ask just because, as you said, it has to take a lot of confidence, which pays off in the end, obviously. So, before I let you go today, you said that you were working on some music, but first of all, when can we expect to hear more music from you? And obviously, things are pretty much at a stalemate right now, but are there any future projects that you have that you're really excited about to, start working on?
So, well, first off, you'll hear all about them on my social medias, and right now the biggest thing is family and taking time to create these things. And I'm lucky to work with my brother, and we're working on a lot of music, and we're hoping to have kind of like a steady release going throughout the summer and just throughout the year, to release as much as possible. That we're working on it, and we don't have any specific dates for releases right now. We're just kind of figuring it all out, and we're taking this time away from the world to really hone in on our passions and combine them and do the best job that we can. And we can't even think about concerts because that's not really going to be happening for a very long time, but we have been extensively discussing virtual concerts, because we actually did one for a virtual concert called the Homebody Fest just a few days ago. And the internet is such a wide place, so you can reach, it was crazy. We did this virtual festival, and my step's older brother and his family was able to watch it, and my friends in America were able to watch it, and my grandmother was able to watch it, and all these people who wouldn't typically be able to come out to a concert were able to tune in and listen to our music. And so we're really considering doing that more often, and just getting to play our stuff and share it with the world.
That's so cool, honestly. As you said, the internet and social media has really made it possible for people to still feel very much together in a time where we're sort of separated. So definitely that is really cool. And awesome that you're working with your brother. I mean, how is that working with family? Is it easy? Is it difficult at times?
I think anyone who has a sibling knows that there are a few years of developmental friendships that need to happen. And I think, you know, with every cloud there's a silver lining, and with the pandemic going on, like, I think the silver lining is the fact that we can be together as a family and work together, because he's so busy. Like, he's a multi-instrumentalist and producer, so he's always working with somebody, and I think it's great that we have this time to really focus in on our music together. And it's not always going to be the easiest thing in the world, because you have years of history behind you, but at the same time, I think we've really overcome a lot of the obstacles we've faced in the past few years, and it's been a really exciting time to come together and join forces and just hear each other out and trust the process.
Exactly. Well, Hallea, it has been so amazing speaking with you. You are incredibly nice and really just easy to speak with. So I do appreciate that, and I appreciate your passion for Locke and Key and all of your projects. I certainly hope that you are able at some point in the near future to get back with your Locke and Key family.
Thank you so much, Tia. It was great talking to you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye.
All righty, everyone. So that was the interview with Hallea Jones. I do certainly hope that I pronounced her name correctly, but she was incredibly sweet, and I definitely think that if you haven't checked out Locke and Key, you should, because it is a very enjoyable and fun sort of mystical series that I think if you are a fan of the comic books, you'll certainly enjoy. But as I mentioned at the top of this interview, my associate Kelly Kantrowitz spoke with Jesse Camacho of Locke and Key, which Hallea actually spoke very highly of, so that was very nice. So make sure you check that out as well. We have plenty of interviews at geekvibesnation.com, and please let us know, what you thought of Locke and Key, and what interview would you like us to do next. So thank you, everyone, and this is Tia. Have a great day.